We left Kashan mid-morning of June 23rd, headed north to Tehran, with a brief stop along the way at the holy city of Qom. Everywhere we went, all over Iran, we saw these blue, fast Saipa 25 trucks. Amin, our Iranian guide, initially pointed them out to us in Shiraz, saying that they are generally the first vehicles purchased by most Iranians. Qom is the 8th largest city in Iran and the second holiest one after Mashhad. It is the site of the shrine of Fatima bint Musa, sister of Imam Reza, whose shrine we visited in Mashhad. The city is the largest center for Shia scholarship in the world and is a significant destination of pilgrimage. Fatima bint Musa, or Fatima the Innocent, was the daughter of the 7th Twelver Shia Imam and the sister of the 8th. Every year, thousands of Shia Muslims travel to Qom to honor Fatima at her shrine and to ask for her blessing. Although not considered one of the 14 most holy figures in Shia Islam, her brother gave her the title infallible or sinless. In Shi'ism, women either become saints by their own accord or because they are the sisters, daughters, or wives of other saints. She is said to have been learned in various Islamic sciences and the teachings of Muhammad, and to have transmitted many teachings from her family members. In turn, she is honored in the teachings of Shia Imams that proclaim the benevolence of visiting her shrine. Her brother stated, in fact, that visiting her shrine is equal to visiting him. Other Imams declare that anyone who visits Fatima's shrine will surely go to heaven. More miracles are reported to have occurred at her shrine than at any other. After our short stop in Qom, we headed on to Tehran, the final city on our tour. Tehran has been the capital of Iran off and on since 1796. It is the largest city and urban area of Iran, the second largest city in Western Asia, and the third largest in the Middle East. It is ranked 29th in the world by the population of its metropolitan area. Neither Tehran nor Iran as a whole were anywhere near as dangerous as most at home might think. All over the country, the people we encountered were friendly and courteous, and usually very inquisitive about us as individual tourists and as Americans in general. Take their current government and the crazy clerics out of the picture, and Iran is really no different from any other country. Frankly, I felt as safe in Iran as I do in the streets of Atlanta, possibly even safer. Built between 1964 and 1970 and financed by an Armenian benefactor, St. Sarkis Armenian Church sits at the edge of the Armenian quarter of Tehran and just around the corner from our hotel. Although most of the Christians in Iran are Armenians, there's also a sprinkling of Protestants, Assyrians, Catholics, and Orthodox Christians, all of whom have churches in Tehran, most behind large walls in the same district as Sarkis Cathedral. I have included 2 online photos of interest since we did not have the opportunity to enter the church. The Saadabad Palace complex was first built and inhabited by monarchs in the 19th century. After an expansion of the compounds, Reza Shah of the Pahlavi dynasty lived there in the 1920s, and his son Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, whom Americans all knew simply as the Shah of Iran, moved there in the 1970s. After the 1979 revolution, the complex became a museum. The official residence of the current president of Iran is located adjacent to the complex. The classical-looking green palace in the Saadabad complex was built in the 19th century and extensively remodeled by the Pahlavis in the 20th. Reza Shah, the final Shah of Iran, lived here until his overthrow in 1979. Unfortunately, cameras were not allowed, so I have included a few online photos of the interior. The design is opulent, with wall-to-wall mirrors in the appropriately named mirror hall and in the bedroom. Based on the lifestyle of the Shah as indicated by this palace, it is no wonder that the Iranian people hated him and the royal family so much. Rather than discussing the displays from the museum shown here, I want to take this opportunity to talk about some things that I learned while in Iran. I was somewhat stunned to see many young people, at least partially, going against the stringent practices dictated by the Islamic government. In particular, very few young women seemed bound by the archaic dress code. Many of them wore brightly colored clothes with slacks or even jeans, as opposed to long black robes. Not only did they not cover their faces, they wore their scarves well back on their heads, so that their generally beautiful black hair could be seen. I was also struck by their overall beauty, although that beauty apparently fades with age because the older women did not seem to have aged well at all. I asked Amin, our Iranian guide, about these liberal practices, and he said that young Iranians generally do not like the strict rules of dress and behavior, and he felt that all of that would change, and soon. Fellow tour member Alan, a former U.S. State Department employee who has spent much time in the Middle East, agreed that changes would occur, but he did not think that that would be soon. Amin even described himself as a beer-drinking, pork-eating Muslim, and he said he almost never attended mosque. Amin also talked to us about the differences between Shia and Sunni Muslims, differences that go way back to the time immediately after the death of Muhammad. The intense animosity between these two factions even today reaffirmed an opinion I had developed earlier in the trip, that Central Asian and Middle Eastern people hold grudges like forever. This entire trip was an incredibly educational trip for me. Golestan Palace, literally the Roseland Palace, is part of the royal estate of the Qajar dynasty that ruled Iran from 1794 till 1925. The marble throne, built in 1750 and made from yellow marble, was the place of enthronement of kings and a venue for official ceremonies and feasts. The throne supports are carved in the shape of men, women, fairies, and demons. The last ceremony held in this place was the coronation of Reza Shah Pahlavi in 1925. After a long but fascinating month away from home, having visited parts of the world I had only dreamed about in the past, I headed home to the States on June 25th, flying first from Tehran to Istanbul, where I had a 2-hour layover. Even there in the Istanbul airport, I saw at least 100 refugees, probably all from Africa. I have no idea where they were actually from or where they were headed or how they possibly could have afforded the flights, but somebody or some group obviously was assisting them.